And this time I've dragged the tripod with me from the old flat. Can I zoom out? No, naturally I can't. Can I be seen? Possibly. We'll have to see. At least we've got a better way of one day I will get used to this tripod and all its knobs and crap. Anyway, yesterday was absolutely exhausting. I'm going to get my bar stool. Bar stool with lumps missing off of it because it basically needs gluing together. It was put together but it was never glued together. Oh dear. It really needs to be properly fixed and glued together, this. It is now 9:25. It gets later and later and later every time. And it's a Friday, so I've got the dev meet on Guy online in about 4 hours. Oh dear. Needs to be done, I'm afraid. And I've literally got the phone on the tripod this time, and it's plugged into a charger to a power point in the larder, so we're fine. And here is all the fruit flies, loads of them, and all the stones that I done yesterday. This is all the Mirabel plum stones and other stuff, including dodgy fruits. So probably just gonna have to bag all that up and then randomly spread them seeds somewhere. Hopefully it will feed people in the future, I don't know. But it's basically a fruit fly trap at the moment. And we've got another pot of them here, but they're no good. I had too many anyway. I had way too many plums, so this is batch free basically. It needs to be done. Can't keep leaving it. They've all been in there overnight anyway. So if you're just joining me, we're doing the final batch of plum jam. Hopefully this will be better than the second batch. The second batch I misjudged the sugar content, being they were foraged plums. Their natural sugar content was higher, so ended up with not needing to put so much cane sugar in. I think I'm pretty much visible. I don't know if my head's been cut off. I'm a bit further forward. I don't want to lift it up too much more. That might have to do, I think. Anyway, best get started. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jars, but I have a feeling we're gonna need more. I'm probably gonna have to scrape out more. We'll have to see. If I have too much, we'll have to see. Oh, and here we go. Oh God, we might have a completely different issue this time, because this pan, this jam boiler is literally It's a lot more full than the last one. It's far more full up. They're smaller plums, but we're almost halfway full this time. Look, so that is at least 500 small Mirabel plums, and there's 5 Victoria plums from the tree at the front. There was 6. I was only able to get 5 of them. One of them, no matter how much I shook that trunk, it wouldn't come down, it's too high. Anyway, that is the fruit. We need to start heating that up. It's pretty moist in there. I don't think we need to add too much water, but I'm going to add some anyway, because they're going to lose their moisture into the mash in the beginning. So what are we? 9:30 at night, and off we go. Here we go again. Right, something to stir it again. You know what? I might even put a knob of butter in there. Who knows if it helps? It might not help. It might stop it from burning. I don't know. I think I've done it before. And again, fennel seed. I don't think I'm going to bother with lemon juice this time, because eating the fruits themselves, they're quite sour anyway. They're quite sour and lemon-like in the beginning, so I'm not going to bother with putting lemon juice in them this time. And we've got different brand of jam sugar and a normal one. So we've got silver spoon jam sugar and a normal one. Hopefully we won't have to add all of that. Didn't with the last batch. I think I had a bag of jam sugar and a quarter, and it was still too much. I think it's just that there was various different varieties, unknown varieties, and they were sugar content was higher. So the second batch wasn't particularly successful. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But yeah, batch 3 is underway. This is Mirabel plum. Right, the story of the Mirabel plums. These trees, I didn't know the original name of them, but back in 2009, a year and a half or something like that after I first came back onto the graffiti scene, I was told about a ruined sports centre at Annerley in South London, and about 2009, especially 2010, I was hitting the walls up the most in 2010, and I noticed that there were plum trees on the site, little plums, tiny little yellow plums, and I was collecting them. So I made a batch of yellow plum jam back in 2010 from basically a little coppice of plum trees out the front of the ruined sports centre at Annerley, which was the Orchard Sports Centre or William Booth Sports Centre. The complex is still there to this day, but it's in such a bloody mess now. It really is. The sports centre at Annerley is a right mess. But it wasn't like that when I first found it. It was quite good, you know, and it was a very chilled location for graffiti writers, music video makers, and that kind of thing. All kinds. At one point I even went to the ruined sports centre to find in one of the rooms there someone had actually set up a romantic dinner for two. Yes, you heard it from me. Someone actually created a romantic dinner for two in a derelict ruined sports centre. Unbelievable. Of course, by the end of it, they'd set light to it. So whatever it was, alcohol, I don't know, but at the end they set light to it. And there was a vase standing there with a single red rose in it, singed at all the tips. It was crazy. Over the years, the ruined sports centre annually, its condition took a dive, I'm afraid. Mainly because they were doing works on the spur from Crystal Palace low level to Norwood Junction, and of course, in order to get all the machinery to do the railway works between Crystal Palace and Norwood Junction via the ruined sports centre annually, they had to give certain parties and heavy machinery companies, contractors, they had to give them keys to the gate. And basically, well, before they came in, there were a lot of oak trees at the side of the railway between the ruined sports centre and where it goes up to the main line. And we go back to 2010, that was the very location that I done my very first YouTube video. I uploaded my first YouTube video, and it was of a Class 31 diesel hammering its way up from Norwood Junction to Crystal Palace. And at the time, there were oak trees there, probably about 100 years old each, and there was a metal shack. It was like scaffold poles with corrugated iron, and it was like this at that time. And they got all the contractors in to do the railway. They actually put massive strong rubber mats down across the grass to stop the machinery from damaging the land. But the issue is they cut down a lot of the oak trees. They cut all the trees down, and then because people had, or contractors had, keys to the gate where James Dixon School is, naturally people are going to be copying the key. And in time, people were going in, they were dumping rubbish in the ruined sports centre. And they were scrapping, they were nicking the windows out of the building annually. The ruined sports centre, nicking all the windows, going around, taking out wires, wiring, that kind of stuff. Not there was much left in the beginning, but they made a thorough job of it. But the dumping was crazy, and I was quite regular at the ruined sports centre, and I would literally be dragging all these pallets and all these single mattresses into a particular room and just leaving them there, because I knew eventually the local kids will come along and torch them, set light to them, get rid of them. And it's the same with, there was a building in the corner of the ruined sports centre at Annerley, the caretaker's house, and that was exactly the same. Ended up with a load of single mattresses in there, all getting burnt out. But what can you do? That's what kids do. Set light to stuff, you know. But I think the stupidest thing, I couldn't even get onto the site. But I remember before they done it, previously going into the site, you'd walk across the field or even through the gate, and then you go up, and then on your left there'll be like a green cabinet. There was a way to open it, but not easily. There's a green cabinet there. I knew it was for something, some kind of utility, so gas, water, something like that. Well, I arrived at the ruined sports centre annually one day, and I got as far as the gates at James Dixon School, and I could hear this noise in the background going like that. And I attempted to walk up the path and said, "Oh no, 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 you can't come up here. There's a gas leak, there's a massive gas leak," or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. That green cabinet I just said about, that was basically a gas main, above ground or a gas meter. And basically what they've done, whoever it was, scrapping for metal, they've gone up there, they're lucky they never fucking killed themselves and blew themselves up to death, you know, because looking at it, it must have been plastic pipes, but when they were cutting that, if that shit had overheated and ignited, they would have blown themselves the fuck up. They literally cut this gas main above ground or meter out. I honestly dumbfounded. Of course I didn't get into the site that day, but when I went back again, when it's all done, I went up and exactly, yes, that's what it was. There's the green plastic cabinet, and where there should have been a gas meter or main, it was gone. They'd nicked it. So that was the stupidest thing that they've done after these dodgy people got keys via railway workers at Annerley. And of course we had later on we had Nitro Haven or Nitro Heaven, I think it's Nitro Haven, and they were a group. I think the man's still on Facebook, but basically they had a club. I think they were at Crystal Palace at one point. They used Crystal Palace, but they found out that there's a particular area that they could use at Annerley to run all their petrol cars and electric cars around. And it was brilliant at its time. They found something incredible, you know, niche, quiet, you know, something like that. So we had Nitro Haven, and they were going round with their cars. We've got videos on my YouTube somewhere, Nitro Haven. And literally the issue is they built everything out of tyres. Morgan, something Morgan his name was. His name was something Morgan. And he built everything out of tyres. So he's not stacking tyres up like this, 5 at a time. But he put one down, screw the tyres together, put another one on top, screw it down, put it on top, screw another one down. So you'll end up with about 5 tyres high, or less, or whatever he wanted. And they were making barrages and chicanes and everything all around this piece of asphalt, tennis, football court, basketball court, whatever it is. And so we had Nitro Haven, and that was brilliant. Very interesting to look at. And of course you had graffiti writers like me, and you had dog walkers and music recorders, that kind of thing. Videos that were recorded were Rico Get 'Em, Stadium Crusader, BBP Stay My Grind, The Midnight Beast Daddy, and What's Your Point by Oliver Sudden. Unfortunately the video's gone, and Rico Get 'Em is gone as well off online. It's been made private, and that was a hard ass hitting piece of music. There may well be more, so if you know about music videos or rap videos that were recorded at the Ruined Sports Centre at Annerley, let me know. But the Midnight Beast Daddy was the most mainstream one. And it didn't stop there. It got more interesting even still when tactical airsoft moved in. Yes, we ended up with BB guns, plastic pellet guns. So we ended up with tactical airsoft there. I think the man was called Ben, and he was an ex-cop or something like that. So he had all these young guys, two different teams, orange and one was blue, and they go head to head, defending and storming areas inside the ruined sports centre at Annerley. I think one of them was called Team Nuclear Waste or something, and that was also quite interesting. But they're not exactly real soldiers, are they? But they'd all be in camo. There was very limited paintball there. I did see signs of paintball, but not much at all. Yeah, we're boiling away now. I'm going to have to turn this down already, I think. And then it'll be the sugar. Yeah, so tactical airsoft. And we had them pretty much at the same time as Nitro Haven. So we had Nitro Haven and tactical airsoft on the Annerley site at the same time. Oh, so there was so much to do. It's no surprise that someone like me, I went up there so much, plus doing my art. It's like a day out, really, a local day out to have so much going on at once. But eventually, what with Nitro Haven and the tactical airsoft, it being, oh god, private land, not really sure who the owner is, or mismanagement of the land. Everything eventually got shut down. Nitro Haven had to move. The Nitro Haven and the tactical airsoft eventually had to leave. There was at the same time a period of time that West London graffiti writer Trev TB, very strange looking guy, friendly, quiet. Could tell he was he had a learning difficulty, and he had loud jumper on and a bobble hat. And Trev, he took it on himself to literally single-handedly clean up the Annerley ruined sports centre site. So he was literally there for weeks and weeks and weeks with a bucket this big. Trev, he literally had a bucket this big, like that, and a scooter, a walk along, like a kick scooter like this, and a trowel. The man had a scooter, a bucket, and a fucking trowel. And on his own, he decided, I'm going to clean this entire site up by himself, you know. So we had Trev, we had Nitro Haven, and we had the tactical airsoft. We had graffiti writers, we had dog walkers. Oh my god, honestly, crazy. I mean, it wasn't in such poor condition, that site at the time. It was really quite nice at that moment. And another thing was just the sheer amount of wildlife. The amount of wildlife there was just incredible. I mean, you get slow worms, Scam JKS. He done his documentary, Colourful Bars. Scam JKS done Colourful Bars at Annerley Ruined Sports Centre. And that day, or just after they left, we saw a slow worm moving along the concrete out the front of the ruined sports centre. And Scam saying a legless lizard is a snake, and I was like, what? He got really confused. But a slow worm is a lot different to a snake, to be honest. Oh. But yeah, Colourful Bars was a documentary that was made there. Scam JKS. I think it was on Vimeo at the time. But yeah, I'm flipping it. At its prime, the Ruin Sports Centre Annerley, I mean, it was even on Yelp, or before that, whatever it was called, Yelp. Literally added it to it, and people, it's like a review of a place somewhere. It's crazy. But eventually, like I said, with all the extra keys that have been cut to the front gate after they started work on the spur from Crystal Palace to Norwood Junction, it went down really fast because the amount of damage they were doing with the scrapping on the site, busting windows out of walls, that kind of thing, taking drain covers, so there's just big fucking holes there that you can fall into. It's mainly the windows, smashing, pulling the windows out that done most of the damage, and then after that the local kids just done the worst of it. They finished it off. Take a look at chat, if there is any chat at all. We've got one person here, but Iona, oh, you're 75. Yeah, I know you're crying, mate. We had some good times at Annerley, didn't we, bro? We really did have some great times at Annerley. 2010, especially 2010, we smashed Annerley. I think we've done about 4 or 6 different pieces. You caught me making the jam. I'm making a second batch of a third batch of plum jam. Basically, it's the same yellow Mirabel plums that I found in the copse at Annerley. Because back in 2010, I dug up 2 of the plum trees there. One of them went to my allotment, and the other one went to the Railway Park allotment at Black Horse Lane. I don't think the one at Black Horse Lane ever produced a fruit on it. It probably flowered, but it's never fruited, and it didn't grow either. I think the trunk is still about that, and I don't look after that allotment now because I got cut off from that Railway Park allotment for 5 years when they were doing the bridges at Black Horse Lane. It's a shame, really. But these plums, this is a big batch I own, and these are the All City Mirabel jam. Yeah, hit me up if I'm finished with it. If you want a jar of the All City Mirabel jam. Of course, this is the tree that I planted on the allotment, and you should see the width of the trunk on that tree now. It is like that. It's literally like that, the widest part of that. And I planted it in 2010, 2011, and the trunk is like that now, and that's on my allotment. But yeah, when I'm finished, mate, hit me up and I'll drop you a... Well, we'll have to meet up, have a drink, and you can have... Well, that's a bit successful. You can have some of this jam. Something nice for the autumn and winter. I'm gonna add the fennel seeds again, but by the time they've been in the mash, they will have softened up, and you don't want to worry about something like that, but it'll help to get rid of the tartness. That's what I did with the first batch. Where's the first batch? Where's the first batch? The first batch, where is it? Oh dear, I don't know. Somewhere, I'll find it. I'm actually finding it hard to tell which is which now. Oh, anyway. Yeah, but let me know, and you can have a jar now that you're here. I'm going to put quite a bit in it this time, and that will give it a little bit of a aniseed kick. Of course, I've got to boil this up for quite some time. I need to figure out which is... This is the second batch, I think. Yeah, that's the second batch because it got a little bit caramelised. Maybe it's in the fridge. Oh, I don't know. I know I've got a jar of it, but very confusing. No, that's the second batch again. I don't know, but then I haven't given any of that away because it's a bit too caramelised. Oh, well, I know I've got more, but maybe it's this one. It's this one. This is the first batch, is it? I'll give up. You know what? I fucking give up. Someone must have come in and nicked them. I'll worry about that later, I think. But there's going to be a lot in here. There's going to be a lot in here. Oh my god, have I got to turn this fucker down again? Oh god. I've got to boil some of this water off, but I don't want it to burn either. Oh. Put that in for glaze. Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to worry about where the first batch is. I'm sure I had it, but oh well. I don't really want this to go the same way as the last one. I mean, to be honest, I need to do this properly. I need to find out if plums naturally have their own pectin. I think it is the case actually that they have their own pectin. Yeah. Oh. No, this is second batch. Second batch. Second batch. Second batch. Did I need to? I don't understand it. I gave one to Mickey and Fran, and I gave one to Tony P. Oh. This one. I don't know. I've got to take a look. That's definitely a different colour. Right, finally we've got this one. This is the first batch. Now this was Victoria Plum from the allotment and elderberry, fennel seed and a bit of lemon in there, and this turned out to be an absolute banger. That was an absolute banger of a jam, that one. Brilliant, that one. Yeah, more jam. Yes, it has its own pectin. That may be part of what I'm doing wrong. So I've got a partial of yeah, it's too late now. That might be the mistake I'm making. They've already got their own pectin, basically. Again, we've got another batch that is bubbling up a bit. And I've got to get rid of some of the moisture, but I don't want to burn it. Oh, right, we've almost come up to half an hour. I was just talking about the ruined sports centre at Annerley, where I first got the the two plum trees. And in one of the rooms I was lucky enough to find this. Changing room number 7, and there would have been a key on here, I would have thought. It's a very big ring, there's probably a second ring and then a key. But this is actually from the Orchard Sports Centre, changing room number 7. So the James Orchard Sports Centre, William Booth Sports Centre. And then on the other side you can see Orchard Sports Centre. So this is where the Mirabel plum trees originally came from the copse there. Because I dug up 2 of the trees and it wasn't, I mean, I guessed what they were, I identified them, but then it was clinched by a tree that I saw at the garden centre at Mordenhall Park. There was a garden centre at Mordenhall Park. This is really bubbling up furious. I need to get rid of some of that moisture. Oh, I'm hoping it doesn't go the same way as the last, I really do. Again, I'm just going to put a quart of this in and hope that it doesn't burn. That will have to do. If it don't work, it don't bloody work. And I've got 3 hours till the dev meet because it's a Friday and that starts at 1 AM, so I'm going to be on the computer, go online at the dev meet in a 2D avatar. But the mash is going, the jam is going. It's looking a nice orange colour, but I think the 5 Victoria plums in there have already changed the colour. It's looking more like an orangey red colour. So they're just them 5 Victoria plums have changed the colour of it. Yeah, so that was quite a story about the ruined sports centre at Annerley. People almost blown themselves up trying to cut a gas meter out or gas main above ground level out of a cabinet. People scrapping, ripping windows out of the complex, knocking down walls. There was one time that we were literally over there and I was there with Rear KC and a couple of other writers, and 2 or 3 young teenagers just turned up with a flipping a scaffold pole or a sledgehammer, and we were raging. I mean, Rear KC, Block KC, he was not happy at all, and we ended up chasing them off. It's just kids get bored and then they do damage. Literally making holes in the main wall at the front at Annerley, or breaking off an area of paint. I mean, this paint was about that thick, been there since the mid 1990s, 1993, something like that, and they're knocking the paint off the wall, and it was like graffiti geology. Literally an inch thick of paint history. It's crazy, but it's just the vandalism, it's just not called for. It really isn't. This is really bubbling furiously. There's still a little bit too much water in here. Still a little bit too much water in here. It's not even really that high up at the moment. I did say I wasn't going to add too much water to it, but I did add some because it needed it. I don't know if I can find some of these pieces of paint that I've found at Anvil. Well, I thought I had it in a particular place, but it doesn't look like it. And I'm not going to spend a load of time trying to find something. But the colour of this now, previous batches have been more of a yellow-orange colour, but with these extra big Victoria plums and the colour coming out the skin, it's looking more of a orangey red, and I'm waiting for these big ones to soften up. They are slowly softening up and it's becoming a little less spitty until I move it, that is. But again, I don't want to add too much sugar. But that was a much larger batch of Mirabel plums. In fact, that's probably the most that tree has ever produced. I mean, so far. So I planted it in 2010 and we're in 2025 now, and that is literally the most plums that tree has ever produced. And you probably find that half of them are still on the floor, because I was literally on my hands and knees for about 2 hours just picking plums off the floor that are already windfalls. They're already on the floor. So I've got 4 pots. I had like a terracotta pot and a pink pot and another pot and a smaller, clay pot, and that's more than enough. I literally had 4 lots of plums, and there's more on the deck. So there would have been double that amount, literally double that amount. Oh. It seems to be more furious when I stir it up, to be honest. But is an hour enough? Because it's furious as fuck when I stir it. Cool blimey, is it? Yeah, us graffiti writers, we had a great time at Annerley. Right, old popcorn. This is one of the previous batch of popcorn that I made for the dev meat. I don't really want that now. I'll see if there's a water bottle. I need a drink while I'm at it. And we'll talk about this strip as well for the fish tank project. You can literally smell it throughout the flat. Literally smell it. Smells nice enough. But I've got to be careful with splattering. Right. this is the lid to the fish tank at the old flat. You can see that I've been working on it, and we've got the charger block and cable, and we've got it stuck around the outside. But the thing is, I need to make holes so that I can, I've probably fucking broken it already, but I need to make holes in certain places so that I can twist wire or something to keep them fastened, or cable ties, something like that. Oh, and this will eventually go on top of the fish tank at the old flat. So I'm basically just heating up a bradawl now. Can't do this at the old flat because there's no bloody gas. There's no stove, there's no heating. So I couldn't even dream of doing this job at the old flat. So that's 2 holes. And this will be for the water project, the fish tank project. That's 2 holes. But I've got to keep an eye on this jam. Oh. Right. That's 2 holes. That's looking a bit better. And so far it's not burning. It's just getting very ebullient. Do I really need to add more sugar to it? Oh, God, blimey. Oh. I'd rather just boil water off of it, to be honest. Well, her mind was there, but I'm not looking at this side of the camera, so. Yeah, I don't think I need to put any more sugar in here. I can feel it on the bottom. It's starting to grumble a little bit on the bottom again. But I can't really turn it any lower, to be honest. It'll be almost off. That's about as low as I'm going to put it. Can't be ready already, but I'm already detecting a bit of caramel in the air, which I wish I didn't. And I know for a fact this can't be done already. It's not even 3/4 of an hour. I've turned it pretty low now. It's pretty low. I can feel it rumbling on the bottom, sadly. Not as bad as the last batch, but it looks like it might go a similar way to number 2. Not as bad. Oh. Right, the piece of land at Annerley, the Ruined Sports Centre, Metropolitan Open Land. It's a MOL, it's private land. It can only be used for forestry, for farming, for graveyards and cemeteries, that kind of thing. Cannot be built on. That's probably why that piece of land hasn't had anything done on it for years, because it can only be farming, forestry, and cemeteries, that kind of stuff. Metropolitan open land. Unless there's a change of policy, you know, not much is going to happen with that site. But yeah, Nitro Haven got thrown off, and the Tactical Airsoft got thrown off, and basically I've been there again since, and it's just, all it's done is just go downhill. And the main playing field that you see from the main line between Norwood Junction to Annerley, the trees at the side of the railway have grown up now. So even in about 2002, 2003, when First Capital Connect were being battered by graffiti, at that time I was able to still get video of the trains going past. But now you go there, you barely be able to see the field from the railway, because all the trees at the side of the railway have grown up so much. And it's probably, the field is probably only grass cut for some kind of fair, a private function or sports day, or like I said, fun fair, and it's probably owned by some obscure community. The land is probably owned by someone, but because it's metropolitan open land, they can't build on it. I'll turn this down as low as I can. Just the 5 Victoria plums, the colour of them, they've changed it completely. It would have been more of a golden yellow colour, but it's more reddish now, reddish purple, and I've turned it down as low as I can, and I'm hoping that that sample is close anyway. I'm breathing this shit in, and I'm feeling a bit it's moving a little bit, but it's pretty stiff, but I don't know if it's actually jam-like yet. Esmethylene whatever your fucking name is. Isma Florine is here. Yeah, my little old lady. Yeah, got a bit of a sore throat. Might just be the fumes off of this, to be honest. But I'm feeling a bit heady as well, so I'm breathing it in. It is affecting my breathing very slightly. And we're now at the point where it's probably just about ready. But did I add enough sugar? I'm hoping for not too much burning, to be honest. No more chat yet. Not yet anyway. But I don't think I'll finish this yet. I'll do this another day. I'll probably do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 more holes. That'll probably do it, I think. See where that jam hit me there. It would be better to turn that fan on, but won't be able, no one will be able to hear nothing, basically. I've turned this right down now. Right, I think now I'm going to give it another test. Colour has changed. It is a bit more orange, possibly a bit brown, but should be alright. I can't really, I've already dropped the temperature, so it's been about 50 minutes, or no, it's been about an hour. It's been about an hour. I'm being very gentle this time. I might actually turn it down even more. That is barely on now. Just above barely on. Oh, right, it's just a case now of waiting for this sample. This chair really needs gluing together. Just testing this sample, I think. Oh, and I'm going to need some fresh air after this as well. Because my head and my ears. And I might need to go to the toilet as well. Oh, deaf meat, I'm going line at 1 o'clock. I'm early, it's not even 10:30, but I'm probably going to need some time to recover from all the fumes in the kitchen, basically. Oh, no. And Isma Florine needs feeding as well. This is as low as I can get it now, pretty much. But this one I did actually put a knob of butter in there as well. You may not have seen it, but I did put a knob of butter in about that big. Whether it helps or not, I don't know, but it's going to glaze it a bit. and I think it may have helped to stop it from burning. No lemon juice this time, just plums, purple plums and fennel seed to take the bitterness off. Not bitterness, the sourness. Still not really stiff, is it? It's still quite sour. But then Mirabel plums are quite on the sour side. I might still be able to leave it a bit longer, seeing as it's on a low temperature. Feels alright. Looks alright. Very, very, very close. That's very close. Take another sample in a few minutes, I think. And shithead's gonna need feeding, aren't you? Yeah. Where's her food? Oh, I bet it's in the drawer. It's in the drawer, isn't it? Ah, it's in the drawer here. Oh, get the cat her dinner. And I'm going to leave it a couple of minutes. Ow. Oh, my back. Oh. Oh. Yeah, my back has been playing me up after stoning all them plums yesterday. It's just the position, really, that I was in. Basically, for about 2 hours or so, I was basically like this over the sink in this position and throwing seeds into a pot here, squeezing plums into this big boiler, and it's obviously affected my back since yesterday. Oh, right. Shithead. Oh. my back's playing me up a bit. And the fumes are getting to me. Oh. I haven't got any sticks left. Chew sticks. I've already got through them. I've got some licky licks, but no actual sticks. And a bit of hemp oil on the top. A little bit of butter. Where's the butter? I'll give her a tiny little bit of butter. Very tiny little bit of butter. Because she likes a bit of that. That'll do, I think. I haven't got any, hang on, have I got, no, I thought I had some, oh I did, but of course the oil is everywhere now. So I've got anchovy olive oil all over the fucking place. I'll just give her that. It's ended up turning over, so now I've got oil all over the inside of my fridge. Oh, right, another test. And I think this will be it. That's looking a lot better. Just putting it on there, it's looking a bit stiffer. That's the third test. Oh, my back. I'm going to need to rest me back after this. I turn that fan on because I've not been able to put the fan on. That is about it, I think. I think it's done. So it's been just over an hour. Fed the cat now. And this is the Mirabel plum jam. So this is batch number 3. And that is it now. I don't think there'll be any more. So I've done, oh fucking hell, I'm getting fed up with this. I can never tell the difference. Oh. That's the first one, I think. Yeah, that's the first one. That was a good one. The second batch was a little ropey, so I'm probably going to be eating the most of that. And hopefully I can give away the second one. The third batch. That's it. I've had a couple of people at the beginning. Hermoine and Aon, my crew mate. That's about it. This is about it, I think. It is sliding a bit, but now it's basically a fear of burning it, and that's put me off. And I don't know if I want to add much more sugar. Plums have already got their own pectin in, apparently. I've already put a whole bag of pectin in plus a quarter of that, and that's all I had in the second batch, and it went a bit wrong. So that's all I've done with that, and I'll probably add more fruit. So I'm just going to leave it at that, I think. And then I'm going to turn the fan on, and I'm going to go into the front room and have a rest. Because my head is starting to ring and my back aches. Well, it's sore, not aching, it's sore. Yeah, I think that's going to have to do. Even if it doesn't set like the first one. I mean, I'm scraping the side, but it seems okay. Maybe I'm not going to risk putting more sugar in, to be honest. And the silver spoon sugar is totally different to the other one that I was using. Very strange looking granules. Very strange. More like white clusters than actual sugar. But yeah, I need to rest. What are you doing? Put that back. Where's my water? I think that's going to have to do it. And that's had more time. Right, this chair needs sorting out. I'll turn that off. Well, that's batch 3 done. I've made 4 holes in this fish tank lid. And when I've made all the holes, I need to literally find some kind of wire or twizzle or something to tighten this LED strip to the inside of the lid, basically. And hopefully it won't get damp, you know, and the terminals corrode. Should be all right, because I think they're going to be on the outside. If I can fit it on, they're going to be on the outside. But I need to find something, even if it's just tiny cable ties, not clear cable ties. I think I've got some somewhere. So when that's done, I need to find some kind of black electrical tape, because one of these corners is completely split. Fix that up, and then I can start thinking about getting fish for that fish tank at the old flat. So I'll turn the heat off now. It's still boiling a bit, but the heat is off. I can tell you now, it's a lot better than the second batch. A lot better. Although it is, I don't know, I'm not convinced that it's burned. It's solid now. It moves a little bit. I'm not gonna fuck around though. It might be okay now, to be honest. Just a case of getting the jars and filling them up, I think. and then I'm going to have to turn this flipping fan on, try and clear some of this out of the kitchen. So basically get these jars, and we'll see how many we fill up. I'm saying about 4 or 5 again. We might have 1 spare, I don't know, or 4 and a bit again. We'll have to see. We got 1 like, and we've had a couple of people on, but don't know if I'll class it as jam, but it feels all right to me. It's just a case of if it was set properly. I think I've got about 5 jars worth in there, 4 or 5 jars worth. Oh dear. Oh, maybe if I have a twist or something. No, it's not really doing anything. And the weird thing is, I always feel the worst on a Friday, late Friday, early Saturday, because I know I want to be at the dev meet and go online, but I always get to the end of the week and I feel worse at the end of the week, like clockwork, and I don't know why. I get to Friday late night and I start feeling pants. It's a bit annoying, really. To be honest, I probably need another shower. I can't have a shower here because the shower's fucked. But then it is council, so what do you expect? Esma's a bit slow eating today. Very slow. But it's turned off now, and it's just a case of pouring it into the jars. There's a little bit stuck at the bottom. Not as bad as batch 2, but there is some, I don't know. Oh. There is a bit. Right, here we go. Whoa. Really need a jam cone, to be honest, but I don't even know if they make that shit now. They used to. I think you get like a metal funnel, but it's an extra wide mouth funnel. Oh, it's very thick, very thick, this stuff. Very thick. Very. Whoa. Yeah, there is burning on the bottom again. That's annoying. The first batch was fine, and the second and third have got a bit. definitely not as bad. Oh, that's one. That's one jar. I won't seal it yet. Oh my God. Right. 2. Wish there was an easier way. Gone are the days when you'd be able to buy the essentials in a shop. God, fucking hell. You have to buy it online and it won't be up to scratch, or it'll get nicked before it gets to you. Actually going everywhere. This is a very, very thick patch. And it's going everywhere, literally going everywhere. Right, that's 2. 2. Oh. No takers yet. Might just before. See, it's coming out so wide compared to the last one. Like a glutinous blob that can't stay in the middle. Don't really have anything that I can use to spoon it in. This is the issue. Oh, this is a nightmare. Fuck, what am I going to do? I don't think a soup spoon's good enough. I can try, but it's all going to fall off the edges. It's not really working. It's so messy. Literally going to have to wash the jar, the outside of the jar. This is number 3. That's number 3. I can see burning on the bottom, but it's not as bad. All I know is I need to fucking sit down. See how it's coming out so wide. Wait. Wait. think we might get, don't know, 4.5. I think we'll get 4.5 out of this. Last of it sliding out. I think we got 4.5. And of course, after that third test, it did boil a little bit more on the low heat, so we have 4.5. Oh boy, sit down again. Getting old. There is a bit of burning. That's probably what's affecting my ears. The burning. Maybe just a tad too much fennel seeding, not by much, but just a tiny little bit much fennel seed. But whoa, it's borderline. It's all right. Quite a sherbet-like refresher. That's what it's like. Refreshers, sherbet, plum. The hit of the fennel seed has gone more now. As you can see, there is a bit of burning, mainly on one side. And there's been a bit of burning, but I've managed to dislodge or keep some of it going. So it's not as bad as last time, but it did again get a little bit burnt. But it's not as noticeable in the flavour. Not this time. The last batch you could really taste the burn. Yes, caramelisation with a bit of burn on the top. It's just a case of soaking this thing again for the third time. Soak that, right, so we have 4.5 jars. I'm not going to seal them up yet because well, I could, but I'm going to wait for them to cool down a bit because I need to clean these up. It is a very glutinous jam coming out of the mix. It's quite glutinous and wide. But then again, there's a heck of a lot of individual small to medium plums. Lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. So we've got 3 and 3/4 jar of Mirabel plum, fennel seed, and there's a little knob of butter in there as well. A tiny little knob of butter. About that big. Oh my god. Put this in there. Put that in there. Another big fat mess that needs clearing up. Oh god. Oh. Another big fat mess. Oh. Oh. I suppose I'll do it while I'm at it. This my Florine's eaten about 1/2 to 3/4 of her food. And she's having another go now. She doesn't seem to have quite the hunger tonight. And there's the test plate. First one is still moving a bit. Second and third are pretty solid. Not solid. And remember, after I took the third one, it was boiling for another few minutes, so we're pretty much borderline jam, to be honest. Nothing wrong with it. But yes, that is about it. Oh, yellow Mirabel plum jam batch 3 with 5 Victoria plums in the mix, and you can tell with just them they have changed the colour to a more of a reddish colour. Still a bit hot. Hopefully I won't get any flies in there. There's literally fruit flies everywhere. It's really annoying. What I need is a fucking blowtorch. Well, I've got a blowtorch. I'll probably never get it to work, but just literally set light to all these fuckers. That's what I need to do. But I never remember fruit flies. Only the last 10 years. Before that, we never used to get fruit flies. You can't even get any apples in without having bloody, you can't, anything. It's not either a bottle of lemon juice, an old bottle of lemon juice, and the top was open. I got to a point where it wasn't the one I was using anyway. That one there's sealed, but I'd one that was partially open, and I literally squeezed it out in the sink, and you could tell that even the fruit flies were getting into the fucking tiny little hole in the lemon juice bottle, and it's just stupid. Where do these things come from? They've got people, scientists that study fucking fruit flies. Why? Is it deliberate? Did they deliberately engineer them to piss humanity off and rot our fruit so we go hungry? I won't be at all surprised, to be honest. Oh, give me a flipping fire lighter. Oh, I'd love to set light to these fucks. I don't know. I thought I did have one. Oh, my guts are playing up a little bit as well. Won't get any of them. They're too fast. They're like lightning. Gabby, my cleaner, was literally here on Tuesday, and she was literally going round with a hoover. She was literally sucking them all into the end of the hoover. It don't make any difference, because even if she sucked them all in, you're still going to get more They come in from outdoors. They can smell it. They come in, probably even coming through the flipping extractor fan or the very, very, very top of the window, in them tiny little gaps in the top of the window. You can't stop them. They seem to have a magnet for these fucking, honestly. They have a magnet for fruit and depriving you of sustenance. Literally. I think that's the only reason they're here. To ensure that people starve and don't eat their 5 a day fruit or how many veg or whatever. But yeah, we're done now. Oh, that is it. Now it's just a case of me having a rest and then getting on the computer for a couple of hours, and then I've got the dev meet. I'll go online. But yeah, we've done batch number 3. There won't be any more jam now. That's 3 batches. First batch was lit. I gave 1 to Mike and Fran, 1 to Linda. I've got 1 here. I'm sure there was more than 3, but I do get confused. Tony P. I gave 1 to Tony P. I'm sure I gave 1 to Linda. Linda, Tony P, Mike and Fran. That 1. And there's 1 at the gaff. Not the gaff, the old flat. So that's 5. And then we've got all the other stuff. And 1 of the second batch has already been opened because I'm slowly going to try and get through these. I can't really give that to someone because it's too caramelised. It'll have to do. Oh, it will cool down eventually. Although I still don't want to see them when they're this warm. I think we're going to end it here. Thanks for joining me. This was jam making part 3, and we're probably going to end it here. Give us a thumb up if you like. Give us a smack of the like button. And it will be normal videos again. I'll have to see if I do a dev meat video. I might not have the room on my phone, to be honest, and I need to clear my head basically and clear the shit out of the air in this kitchen, get some air into the kitchen. Well, thanks anyway for joining me. 1 hour 40 minutes pretty much. We've got 4 3/4 jars of Mirabel plum jam. Better than batch 2. Maybe not quite as good as the first one, but still good enough for me.